Hey guys, welcome to video number 2 in Fire Your Graphic Designer. This is a course where I'm going to be showing you just how easy it is to design graphics in Photoshop and PowerPoint. This is video number 2, and this one is called The Elements of Your Design. Now, every single design can be broken up into multiple elements, right? So if you have a banner ad, that banner ad consists of the border. If there is a border, there's the background, and then there's any other stuff you have on that banner ad. If you have an ebook cover, there's the title, there's the background, there's any other secondary elements that make up your ebook cover. And the design, the overall design, the picture that you're looking at, that banner ad, that ebook cover, that website, it is defined by how those elements work together to create that design. Those elements stack up on top of each other, and they create your design. So making design easier, it's important to see how those elements work together and how you can put them together and in a kind of step-by-step building process to create your design. And that's what we're going to be doing in this course later on when we design our graphics. So what are some of the elements of design, right? So what are some of the elements of design? The first one, and in my opinion, a lot of people will agree, the most important one is color, right? Color does most of the heavy lifting when it comes to design. Look at this PowerPoint presentation, for example. We have a yellow and a green, right? There are also secondary elements in this background that you're looking at right now that we're going to discuss later on. But the colors are everywhere in life, right? Colors are everywhere. They influence our mood. They send a certain message. Right? Colors do a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to design. So while we won't be getting too in-depth into color theory, there's literally no need for that. We are going to be talking about colors and different color combinations and how you can bring different colors together to create a certain mood or a theme or a feel. Okay, here's another element. This one is typography, right? The type, if there is type in text and that kind of stuff in your design, it also does a lot of the heavy lifting. Let's look at the picture on the right here. Your future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow, right? Every single letter on this page is in a different font, and that communicates a different message. It does a few different things to the reader. Number one, it's refreshing, right? It keeps my eyes going. But number two, it also kind of creates this curiosity. I want to scan the page. I want to read that next word to see what font it's gonna be in, because I've noticed everything here is in a different font. So kind of gets my eyes to go down the page without creating fatigue, without me being bored. It's a very fun picture to look at, and that's simply created by using different texts, different fonts, right? So that's typography, and we're also going to be talking about that as well. Let's look at a third element of design here. This one is patterns. So back to the PowerPoint presentation that you're looking at right now. If you look at the yellow, there's a pattern on there. It's a honeycomb pattern. And then you look at the green, there's another pattern on there as well. It's a bee pattern. I just randomly chose, don't ask me why, I don't know. I just randomly, I think it was on a website, and I was just browsing, and I saw, I think it was a bottle of like honey. They were selling honey. And I saw it, and I just wanted to create something with a bee theme to it. It has literally no contextual meaning to this course, which is a bad idea. You do want your design to be connected to the content, but I kind of broke that rule here, and I just randomly went with a bee pattern. So just because I wanted to try it out and work with different colors. But as you can see, there's the honeycomb pattern, and then there's the bee pattern. So you get the feel you get from this background, this PowerPoint background, is that there's something to do with bees here and honey, right? Without those patterns, it would be a lot harder for you to get that message. Right? So that's where patterns come into play. And if you look at the picture on the right, they're all different kinds of patterns. And again, it's all about how you stack those patterns on top of each other, right? And those elements, how you stack them on top of each other. And you create a certain message by doing that. So patterns are very important, and they are definitely something you want to be using in your designs. The next one would be textures, right? So if you look at the pictures on the right here, we've got this kind of jagged edge texture. We've got this noisy kind of paint splotch texture. We've got this geometrical, like glass, shattered glass almost, or like what's it called? Like crystal crystals, pretty much like diamond pattern. And then we've got this paper texture here. Now, if you look back to that yellow background in the background of this presentation, you get a kind of, if you can see that, it's a very grainy texture, right? And that's called noise. So that's another way of making your designs pop, is by adding texture to them, right? All different kinds of textures: wood texture, paper texture. You can add in noise like I did here. There's all kinds of textures that you can add in. And as you can see, I have the pattern on top of the texture, right? So I'm starting to stack these together to give you a certain message. Another thing you can use are symbols. You might see these in, like, if you're reading a book and you look at the chapter headings of the book. So actually, let's pop out of this presentation quickly. Let me see if I can pull it up for you, show you what I'm talking about. Let's see here. Okay, right here. That's a symbol right under Armageddon at Sea. That's a symbol right there. And they're using that just to give it a little more oomph to the design, right? Symbol, right? Here, that's kind of a symbol as well of a rose, right? So symbols are very important. You can add them in sparingly to your designs to give it that much more, flavor, right? So symbols. We have icons as well, right? Icons say in a little picture what it would take a lot of words to say, right? So if you look at the picture on the right, we have looks like a hospital patient. These are just random icons that I pulled from the internet. We have the lab test tubes. We've got a crosshair. We've got a patient on the toilet, another patient, and then some kind of, that might be like a building illustration. But icons are also very important. Icons just add that much. See, the thing with design is it's not necessarily about adding in a lot of big stuff or adding in a ton of stuff. It's just a little thing you throw in, right? So if we go back to this, right here, just a little symbol in here, right? I saw a really cool one. This one. This one, just a simple line, right, and an icon of the Eiffel Tower, right? Hopefully that's the Eiffel Tower. I'm guessing, right? Don't quote me on that, right? Now, without this line here and this Eiffel Tower, it would look a little less appealing. All we did was add in two things here, and this book already looks cooler. And that's what design's about. It's not always about adding in a ton of stuff. It's not about adding in the biggest, loudest stuff. Just throwing in a little icon here and there could really add to your design. Images also do a lot of the heavy lifting, as they say. An image is worth 1,000 words. So images are very important. And we're going to be talking about images and where you can find really high quality images, later on in this course. And we're going to be working with some of them. But images are also very important. I use them in my designs all the time. If we go over to the website, it's still in construction, but we should be able to see the image there. 1 second as this loads up. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. I might actually have to upgrade my servers. There's an image in the background there. It's super dark, but there's an image in the background there, right? That's an image, and I put a dark thing over it, overlay over that image. And that says a lot. I might change up the image just so it's more contextual, but it's an image of people working, right? So images do a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to design as well. If we go to the blog, 1 second here. And again, these are just random images that I put in there because I'm designing this website currently. But if you look at this, right, there's an image back there of like some kind of store. We scroll down, this blog post. This website should be up and running completely by the time you're watching this video, however. That's another image, right? So images they just add that much more to your design, right? But we all know this. We live for images. We live for things like Instagram and with our camera phones, right? So images are very important as well. Let's look at another element of design. Shapes, right? Shapes, very simple. Let's break this PowerPoint graphic down. It's a bigger rectangle with the yellow. So let's see how these stack up, right? It's a rectangle, that yellow background right here, right? Yellow. I've got some texture on it, the noise. I've got a pattern on it, the honeycomb, but it's a shape. All it is a shape, a rectangle, right? Then we got a smaller rectangle shape in green, a green rectangle with a pattern on top of it. These are just shapes, right? Just shapes. So having different shapes, and if you look at the picture to the right here, we have all kinds of different shapes. We've got ribbons, we've got circles, we've got, bars, stars, all different kinds of shapes. Some shapes are symbols, but some are just like, traditional shapes like circles and squares. And you can work with these, again, just to add that much more to your design. And we're going to be working with shapes a lot more. That's what pretty much design is at its, at its bare minimum. Just different shapes and getting different shapes to do weird stuff, pretty much, right? Effects. This is kind of the last element here. Effects. An effect is something like a drop shadow. You add a shadow to something. You add a glow to something. Different stuff like that. These are effects. And again, effects just add that just a little bit of, oomph to something. So let's see if I can show you that right now. Let's get rid of this stuff. Delete. I'll go to insert, shapes, right? What we have here is just a normal square, right? Let's make it gray. Now what I can do is come in here. I'll go to format, and where am I? Shadow, right? And I could select this one, right? And if we duplicate it, and we remove the shadow in the other one, let's move it to the, let's center these, align, center, and so let's take a look at these. This one has just, and again, we can play with the shadow and get it to look a lot smoother than this, but very simple. That's an effect, right? That's an effect, just a shadow. And we're actually going to be using that when we create our ebook graphics. We're going to be adding just a little bit of a drop shadow to create a more realistic effect. So that's it for the elements of design. Like I said before, the quality of your design is determined by how well you make multiple elements work together. And I kind of explained that with this PowerPoint presentation, how I got the patterns and the textures to work together, as well as the different shapes, right? By doing so, you create a mood, you create a feel, you create a theme. What is the theme of this PowerPoint presentation? For some weird reason, I chose a bee theme. So it's bee. There's bee stuff everywhere, right? Let's look at some other moods, though. Let's look at how some other colors and texts and symbols work together to create different themes and moods. So let's take a look. This one is a luxury, right? I didn't even need to say that. If I were to ask you what mood this picture gave you, you would say clean. You would say dark. You would say sleek. You would say luxury, right? Why is that, though? So all we're doing here is we're stopping and we're asking the question, why am I getting this vibe from this picture? Well, first off, it's a dark image. They're using a very dark gray here. That's the background. On top of that, we have white on top of the dark, so that creates a certain level of contrast, right? We have certain kinds of fonts being used here. The symbol, if you look at the symbol, it's just a random symbol, the color of the symbol, this goldish brown color, right? We have, shapes. We have random lines running down here. So there's a lot of stuff going on here, but it's all working together to create that luxurious modern feel. If you take a look at our website, my website actually, amodernmarketer.com. Let's go to blog. I need to edit this link, but let's do contact. Right? Look at that. So when you come to this website, I wanted to communicate, and I'm designing this website, but I wanted to communicate I want it to be sleek, clean, modern, minimalist, right? And I'm doing that with the dark background there, right? Very dark. Now, there are other ways to create a modern look. There are other ways to create a sleek look. It doesn't have to be dark, but this is one of the ways to do that. So I have the white text, fancy text. This is called a serif font, and we're going to be working with these more. I have the text outlined a certain way here. They're spaced out. It's a dark color, and it's all caps. And then I have another kind of text here. That one's, a little darker than this. This pops out the most because this is the heading. And this is just a little subtitle under the subtitle. Little call to action under the subtitle. Contact page. I'd love to hear from you. Send me a message below, right? I wanted to create a very sleek, modern look. The icon, my logo, very sleek, modern. The fonts I'm using here. So everything is calculated, and that creates that luxurious, sleek look, right? Let's go back into our presentation here. Refreshing. So if I were to ask you, what vibe, what mood, what theme, what feeling do you get from this picture? You would say to me, you might say green. You might say, clean. You might say, maybe, not necessarily, but you might say feminine. You might say baby. When I look at this picture, I think of, for some reason, yogurt. I feel like this is something I'd see in like a yogurt bar. Like I go to a place to get yogurt or frozen ice cream or gelato. I feel like this is what I'd see I could see the restaurant being this color. I feel like this is a color I'd see if I was shopping for baby's clothing. Now, what is creating that mood in my brain? What is creating that image in my brain? Well, it's the swirl pattern, right? Blue, the colors. Again, color does a lot of the heavy lifting. Color does a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to design. Look at that yogurty color. I don't know. It just reminds me of yogurt for some reason. I don't know. Swirl pattern. That's kind of like a green, right? Green color. Then we have the purple. Purple just put in different positions here, right? These are icons, right? We have a certain kind of font. This is like a modern kind of experimental font. Part of the E is cut off, but we still know it says menu. We have different shapes here. We have a rectangle. We've got another rectangle. We've got a little outline there, a dotted outline. We've got the drop shadow. These are drop shadows just to add a little bit of depth and oomph to these designs here, right? And I look at this, and it gives me a certain feel, right? And all of these things work together to give me that feel. Boom. Right in your face. Right in your face, right? Red. The red overpowers everything else. This is serious. This is powerful. This is, important, right? Red everywhere. You stop and you look at this. It demands it from you, right? The font is very fancy, right? And I have a font that looks just like this. Let me show you. Let's just put in a random shape. Let's do a dark. And I'll put in like a text box. I'm skipping ahead a little bit because I'm already showing you how to do stuff, but I just want to show you. We can do American. We'll do white. Hopefully I still have this font installed on my computer. There we go. Right? 1 second. This is kind of the same font. It's modern, it's fancy, but it's different at the same time, right? Let's see if I can grab the exact one I'm looking for. Medium. Boom. Boom. Center this. Right? This one's a little thinner. It might be a different font altogether. Could space this guy out a little bit. Boom. Right there. Right? This one's, it's modern, it's fancy, but it's different, right? So and that red with the text and the colors, the white and black, the sizes, the fonts, look at this on Broadway at the bottom, very modern font, right? That creates that powerful feeling in our heads. Let's look at another one. This is like a product I designed. I wanted to give it a C feeling. Now this one, I know I said with a B one, with this one was random. This one wasn't random. This is a course on how to create content. And I just thought of the metaphor, the image of creating content being it's almost like being a sailorman on a ship. You have these different obstacles that you have to go through. Creating content might be hard for you, but it can be a smooth sail if you know what you're doing, right? And I also thought of when you do hit a certain point everything with your content start, and it's true that it just starts to flow like a cascade. So I called it the content cascade, and I wanted to give it a C feel. Now let's break this down. What do we have going on here? We have yellow going on. We've got blue. We have patterns. So there's the wavy pattern on the back there, right? Waves, C, beach. We've got the anchor pattern on top of that on the box. Anchor, sailor, sail ship, right? We've got a picture of a map. Like I wanted to indicate that you were headed to a certain destination after you've created your content, right? So, and we've also got a very, very subtle, if you can see that around the edges there, very subtle drop shadow going on, very subtle, right? So that's another mood I wanted to create. And now this is nautical. It's a nautical theme. It's a sea theme. You feel like you're at sea when you look at this, and that is the exact message. Again, look at the logo. We've got two anchors crossed together, and that those are two icons, right? Two icons. I duplicated this icon, rotated it, duplicated the other guy. I duplicated one icon, rotated it, and aligned them, right? So a lot going on here. The font, very modern font, right? A lot going on here, but and this creates a certain theme in your head, of a certain mood. So everything works together, like I've said 1,000 times. Everything works together to give you that message. My question to you is, what mood would you like to create? It's important to start thinking of these things. What mood would you like to create with your upcoming product? What mood would you like to create with your up-and-coming website that you're building? Maybe you're a stay-at-home mom with kids, and you're writing a blog on how moms can make it with online marketing. Maybe you want it to be a little feminine, but modern at the same time. Maybe you want, you know what I mean? Like maybe you want there to be, maybe you want it to look like a whatever. You want children's elements on there. You want it to look like a baby's nursery. You want your website. This is about self-expression, right? This is about the one of the most challenging things for any kind of artist, right? Painter, musician, whatever, is getting something to look and seeing something in your head a certain way and getting it to look that exact way in real life. And in my opinion, what separates good artists from great artists from not so good artists is how effectively you're able to translate that idea into the real world. One of my goals here with this course is to help you bridge that gap as effectively as possible by using, again, I'm not a professional graphic designer. I didn't go to school for this. This is self-taught. So I'm not saying I'm going to make you, the next Picasso, but, allowing you to express yourself a little more. I got a product coming up. I want it to look like this. You see, your main problem may be that you don't know how. You don't know what fonts to use. You might know that you want something modern, but what does modern look like, right? What does corporate look like? What does casual look like? My goal with this course is to give you these different tools so you can figure out, okay, modern might mean I want a font that's thin, right? Fancy might mean I want a font that's a serif font, like Playfair Display, for example. And I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but what mood would you like to create, right? Start thinking that and start asking yourself that question. And a little action taking here. Start thinking of the colors you want to use, right? With that mood. Pick a primary color and a secondary one. Colors, it's good to get them to dance together. Different colors. You can design something with one color, but that's just so bland. It's just so bland. If I were to do this PowerPoint presentation with one color, let's say green, for example, I would have to use different shades of green. And that would just be a bit too green. Instead, I have yellow, green, and white. Right? So get the different colors to work together. Choose a primary color and a secondary one. This video is running on for almost 30 minutes, so I'll wrap it up. Let's look at some quick, before I let you go, some quick color combo resources. So there's a folder here. 1 second. Let's go here. Let's do Dropbox. We'll do, where am I? Boom. This one. 100 brilliant color combinations and how to apply them to your designs. So I'm going to have that link right up and ready for you. And it's a really cool website because they've got the moods and the themes all figured out for you. So let's take a quick look. Look, this one's called, as these load up here. Let's move on to this one. This one's called Subdued and Professional, right? This one's called Fresh and Bright. Now, if you take a look, these are taken from real life. These colors are taken from real life, right? Honey is yellow. So with that bee theme I was doing, honey is yellow, so I chose a yellow, right? It makes a little bit of sense why I chose it, but not entirely, because I just randomly chose it. Dark and earthy. Brown, dirt, earth, brown. They also give you the hex code. The hex code is this code right here. This is what lets the computer know what color to display, and we're going to get into that later. So they give you everything you need right here. And I have a plugin on my Chrome here. Whatever, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll talk about that later. But if I wanted to, I could grab these colors and pop right into PowerPoint, pop right into Photoshop, and get going. This one's called Cool Blue. So use this to help you come up with different color combinations. You can actually Google that. Good color combos for website. I don't know why I'm typing in caps here. Color, website color schemes. Fun and perfect. Is this the same thing we were looking at? It might be. Maybe, I don't know. I think they just borrowed this from the other website. Maybe, I'm not sure. But in any case, Google it. Fun color combos. Look at how much color is going on here. This looks beautiful. Maybe you want to do something with purple. This goes well with purple, right? That off brown or whatever color, beige. So now you're starting to get ideas. Now you're starting to look in a certain direction. Now you're starting to now you know what colors you want to go with. You're making progress, right? So that has been it for video number 2. This one has been the elements of your design. This is Fire Your Graphic Designer. I'll see you in video number 3, where we're going to be discussing typography and how to find free fonts online. My name is Rohan, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.